What's up? I'm Dylan Siemens with Onyx Coffee Lab, and on this Brew Methods video, we're going to be making coffee in a Kalita Wave. As you can see, you can get the Kalita Wave in multiple styles, but it's the same design throughout all of them. And this is one of my favorite brew methods. It makes coffees that are sweet, bright, and it lets through a low to medium body. So for our recipe, we're going to be using 25 grams of coffee. Today, we're brewing the Sugar Skull blend from Onyx, and we're going to pour about 400 grams of water. So this is a 1:16 coffee to water ratio, and it's going to make about 11 ounces of coffee. So you can move those measurements around however you want to make a smaller or a larger cup. I'm grinding on a medium fine grind setting, and so let's get into our brew. First thing I'm going to do is wet down my filter with hot water in my kettle. I'm preheating my kettle right now. Then we'll grind our coffee, and I'll go get more hot water. Right, make sure to dump your preheat water. My water is sitting around 203 degrees right now. You want it above 195 or just under a boil. Let's put the coffee into the Kalita. Shake the bed even. And before we begin brewing, let's talk about the actual pouring schematics, when I'm pouring and how much I'm pouring. My first pour is going to be a bloom. I'm going to pour about 50 grams of water, saturating the entire bed, and I'm going to let that go for about 30 seconds. On my second pour at 30 seconds, I'm going to pour about 100 to 120 grams, lifting the bed up near the top of the Kalita. And then in increments of 15 seconds, I'll pour about 60 grams of water, just maintaining that high bed depth until I hit 400 grams, which hopefully happens before 2 minutes, and then I'll let it drain for about 1 minute. So let's turn on our scale, zero it out, and begin brewing. So first pour on the bloom. I'm gonna pour very light, circling outward, just touching all the dry grounds. And then I like to stir the bloom, just to make sure all the coffee is saturated as soon as possible. So now I'm waiting for 30 seconds, and on this pour, I'm going to pour about 6 circles, hitting the middle, concentric circles moving outward, lifting the bed up to the top. And then on that last circle, I'm wrapping the outside of the filter, washing anything back down. And now I'm just gonna let the coffee drain. And here around 50 seconds, I'm gonna pour 3 circles. That same concentric pour pattern. 1 circle in the very center of the bed, second circle just around that, kind of halfway between the center and the wall, and then my final circle around the wall of the filter. And I just follow that pour pattern every single time. You want to be sure not to overfill the Kalita. You don't want to go beyond the top line in the Kalita. And so between each pour, I'm letting it fall down about 2 lines that you can see on the wall of the Kalita. What this is going to do for you is maintain a nice temperature in the bed so the coffee continues extracting. And if you overfill it, your drain will slow down, or if you let it underfill, you'll run out of temperature. Your extraction will go short. And now for this final pour, I'm just topping off, hitting that 400 gram target right at 1:55. And now I'm just going to let it drain. So for the pour pattern itself, let's talk about that while this coffee drains out. Those concentric circles hitting the middle and circling outward onto the outside of the filter has a really specific goal. What I'm trying to do is touch as much coffee as possible. I'm trying to get the water coming out of my kettle to hit as many grounds as I can. And by pouring in the middle, the coffee will move upwards. It'll agitate upwards and outwards onto the walls of the Kalita. And then for that final circle, I'll rinse that coffee back into the base. And so we're trying to turn the bed over, exposing the particles over and over to more water. All right, we're right at 240. The coffee is done draining. And then your obligatory smell. Pour it up, and you're good to go. So here's that information again on all of the pouring schematics for your Kalita Wave to do at home. Follow this on your scales and fine-tune your grind size to hit that desired drain time. Also, if you want any of the equipment you see me brewing with here, whether it be Kalitas, filters, coffee from Onyx, kettles, scales, visit the merchandise tab on onyxcoffeelab.com. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you brew better on your Kalita Waves at home.